Trust Frontier to drop the first species profile while I was off doing other things, eh? Though it's not a species profile this time around, now it's called a Dinosaur Showcase. And not only is it a brand new species, but it's a brand new ceratopsid, something we haven't had nearly enough of in these games for my liking. As the voiceover says, Lokiceratops is indeed a recent discovery, found only 6 years ago in 2019 in the Judith River Formation. JPOG heads will remember that one. The formation is famous for several other dinosaurs like Corythosaurus, Gorgosaurus and Dromaeosaurus. Lokiceratops has been named for the Norse god, for his blades, and that's because of the peculiar shape of the bone display you can see at the top of the dinosaur's head. But let's talk about Frontier's version of the dinosaur, because there's lots to love here. We've got some really strong counter shading, we've got this prominent and beautifully smoothly curved beak, we've got the skull jutting out to the side similar to the likes of say Protoceratops, and those strangely shaped two central horns that kind of splay in and out and sort of curve around a little bit from this raised portion of bone in the centre of the skull, not dissimilar to what you see on some modern extant animals. The real beauty of this thing though is absolutely in the frill. Not only do we have what's probably the most interesting outer display in the entire game with those long pieces of bone towards the top being really unique and striking, but the way they've coloured the frill itself is pretty incredible. Finally, we have more ceratopsids with proper, bright, striking frill coloration, perfect for mating displays, dominance displays, etc. I love the way you can make out the individual prominent scales here and how some of them have been almost coloured individually, along with this really pleasing colour combination of red, white and blue. It's not still 4th of July, is it? Anyway, a beautiful creature. I wish the body pattern on, this is the male, I wish the body pattern on the male was a little bit more interesting because we once again have the Frontier splotches, but it does have a nice little gradient effect on the splotches, if nothing else. You can see on the next page what is, I'm assuming, the female of the species. Now, not only is the pattern much tamer here, it actually looks a lot better here. I really like the female's body pattern, but the horns, the frill display, the jutting out of the skull are much less prominent than they were on the male variant. She's a beautiful, I would say slightly more naturalistic looking dinosaur. We can see that the Lokiceratops is born in batches of 2 to 4 with a set number of genetic modifications allowed as per the last game. Most of the stuff on this page is stuff we've seen before, either in previews or indeed in the previous games, just rearranged a little bit, but there is one thing I'm curious about, and that's this little thing down here. It's what looks to be a hatchery, and then +2. Next to begin synthesis. This is not here on Jurassic World Evolution 2. What does +2 mean? I'm really not sure. Available slots in the hatchery, available hatcheries in general, a buff of some form provided by the hatchery, maybe larger egg clutches, a buff provided by the breeding. I really don't know. This is a curious little detail. We'll keep an eye on it. The next scene really showcases those sexual dimorphism differences more prominently, and then we get a glimpse at a few more colour schemes. One thing I really like here is the subtle striping along the horns, and the way the colour blends into the base of the horn, giving us this sort of ombre effect. Really, I just wanted to use the word ombre at least once. I feel like it's a Jurassic World Evolution classic. Also look! Feet, if you're into that, with digits! No more horrible elephantine feet. We are moving up in the world, folks. They have individual splaying and placed and animated digits. The animators have done fantastic work on this dinosaur in general. Speaking of which, we get this beautifully animated dominance display. Weighty and impactful the way it should be. We get dust kicking up from the ground as the dinosaurs tussle. It's lovely stuff. You can also make out some small round nodules along the body of the dinosaur. They're subtle but pretty clear, and they look like teeny tiny osteoderms, small circles of bone adorning the dinosaur's skin. I still wish they'd done something other than splotches though. I promise I won't talk about it again. Regardless, this family unit showcases the dinosaur really nicely. Not only the differences between the parents, but oh, the little baby boo-boos. It's a fun detail here, but they've made sure that one of the babies, that's what I was saying by the way, has the skin colour of one parent and one has the other, really emphasising that natural bred family unit. The juveniles of course have even further reduced display features, with the horns in particular barely sprouting out and the frill and skull detail also barely visible. My heart. Lokiceratops isn't the only dinosaur in this preview though. This beautiful scene gives us another look at the Brachiosaurus, itself in a family unit, and our first look at a real, non-statuified Ankylosaurus. More than anything though, it gives us this beautiful alpine forest environment, unlike the environments we've been seeing so far. We've got large rock displays in the background, a huge variety of different natural looking foliage. Even the sparse grasses look unique in colour, size and texture. Our exhibits are just going to look so much more natural and varied. We also get a closer look at the lily pads that have been painted over the water. All told, it's a beautiful scene, and more than anything I think it's really benefiting from the vastly improved lighting capabilities that Evolution 3 is bringing over its predecessor. Another detail I really like here is the very short tail and slightly oddly shaped tail of the Lokiceratops. There's a real consistent habit with this franchise in general to unnaturally extend the tails of ceratopsians, assumably because it looks a little bit cooler, but you can tell the care has been taken to get the proportions of the Lokiceratops correct, and not only does it get this entirely unique, slightly odd teardrop sort of shaped body, but overall I'd say it's another really successful fusion of the paleo-accurate and the Jurassic Parkified. This is something Frontier has got so much better at in the last few packs and dinosaurs. For example, in this final shot, although it looks a little strange at this angle with this lighting, you can see the dental battery inside the male's mouth. That's a weird sentence if you're not into dinosaurs. You've got this short row of teeth set further back in the mouth, likely used for chewing and breaking down vegetation, and it's a cool detail to see them correctly placed in the mouth here. Sound-wise, I don't have much to say about Loki, I'll get onto that in a second. But it sounds like a hoarse, slightly higher pitched ceratopsid. It sounds really good. I feel like sound design maybe doesn't get the credit it's due, but the fact that you don't really notice it on the Loki is actually a compliment to how naturalistic that sound design has been done. But also, what's this building? It's a flat-topped wood and glass tower looking building with a radio mast atop of it. Now I went back and had a look in Evolution 2 and I'm pretty sure this is an alternate version of the Jurassic Park era viewing tower, given it has the same shape and the same radio mast. Either the tower's been updated with a new wood detail and these tall, thin windows, because it kind of resembles the visitor centre a little bit more, or it's simply a custom built design, which of course is more than possible in Evolution 3. Either way, I'm pretty sure it's a viewing tower. And that is the end of the showcase. We have a beautiful new ceratopsid for our games. I can't fault the dinosaur itself at all, really, other than the splotches. Okay, one more time, apparently. I forgot I scripted that. I'm really happy to have a brand new, beautifully coloured ceratopsian around. Those frill colours in particular make me very, very happy. The species profile itself needs some tweaking. I'd say the sound balance is a little bit off. The music is kind of drowning everything out. It feels like the guy's having to shout a little bit, and I'd love to maybe see them integrate the din a little bit more strongly with the species profile itself. I'm still going to call them species profiles, I can't help myself. You know, some reason why is the din showcasing the Lokiceratops, basically. But that is nitpicking. What's really important is that we get to keep seeing these absolutely stunning dinosaurs. What do you think of Lokiceratops? Let me know in the comment section down below, and keep an eye out for more Jurassic World Evolution 3 news and reveals on the channel in the coming months. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you all very, very soon. Cheers, much love, not as a threat, in a nice way. Cheers, much love as always. Bye-bye.